Yo, welcome back. We got new gold prides, and that means new combos, and not a whole lot has changed in terms of, punk stuff, but the deck does have a lot of new pieces of interaction. So the methods that we use to get out our board isn't too different, but there are a lot of new interactions that I want to go over. And of course, there's the new Xyz monster and the new search spell that do shake up the combos a little bit compared to the Punk Gold Pride video I made a while back. So if you want to know, more of the Punk side of things, you can go watch that video. That video has the full Punk combo lines with Wagon and the field spell and searching the trap and all that. But now, Gold Pride is its own deck. It's its own engine now. So, I'm going to be using a much smaller Punk engine in this video, and I'm going to be focusing a lot more on the actual Gold Pride monsters. But I do think that Punk is still the best enabler for the deck, and I'll show you why here, because we can do a lot off of just a single E-Tele. So we can E-Tele out for the Amin, which will add the Foxy Tune. Foxy Tune will summon out the Deer Note and go into the Dragon Drive. Now this is pretty much the entirety of the engine that I'm playing. It's just Amin, Deer Note, Foxy Tune with E-Tele. I'm not playing all the field spell shenanigans and the spider searching the trap. I'm not doing all that because I want more space for the gold prides, and I can show you my current list at the end of this video. So here's why I think this is really good. Why Punk is even better of an engine than before. Because we can actually summon back the Amin here and go into Psychic Tracker, which we searched off of Dragon Drive because it can add a level 3 Psychic from your deck to your hand. Now, Psychic Tracker and also Psychic Wielder, I think, are very strong in this version of the deck because normally you see these cards in the 3-axis rank 3 spam decks, and it's for one simple reason, and that we can make the new Gold Pride Xyz, which is just a generic rank 3. So having these extra extenders in the deck, very useful. Because even though we haven't normal summoned yet, Dragon Drive can search maybe another Amin, and you could normal summon that, but you're not always going to open the E-Tele. So this is a combo that you can do even if you just have to normal summon Amin to start your combo. Which is why Psychic Tracker and Psychic Wielder, I think, is really good as just a one of, just to search off of Dragon Drive to make a combo like this possible. So, what does Carrie do? Well, you can detach a material, add a Gold Pride spell from your deck to your hand, then if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can send a Gold Pride monster from your deck to the graveyard. So, we're going to add Gold Pride Better Luck next time, which is essentially just a search spell. It's just tanky. That's basically all you need to know. And the dump effect does come up. It is pretty important sometimes, but not really all the time. Normally I just dump Carrie to the grave so that if we have Leon and stuff in hand, we can reborn it. But we're just going to search Leon with the Better Luck next time. What we're going to do is we can special out the Leon. Leon effect will reborn the Carrie. And Carrie will search for the trap. So the trap is insanely good now. The trap was just kind of like a mediocre card before, but now it is so insane. It's not even once per turn. It's like a +2 or +3 every time you activate it, which is just nuts. And then we can synchro these two off for the Star Leon because we're now locked into Gold Pride extra deck monsters. So Star Leon's our only option here. Then during the end phase, we can use Carrie effect to tag out into another Carrie, which doesn't get its effect, but it does trigger the Better Luck Next Time, which gets to draw us a card. So while this board doesn't look like a whole lot right now, if our opponent summons a monster, we can activate our Start Your Engines, which will destroy the monster, and we can reveal 3 copies of... where is he? 3 copies of Gold Pride Roller Baller. Now this is why I think you need to play 3 of this. I sometimes see 2 in certain deck lists, but the fact that you can guarantee the summon off of Start Your Engines, and this is the deck's main disruption tool, it almost, to me, it feels like it's a mandatory 3 of, in my opinion. Because you have to see this off of the Start Your Engines. So we get to summon out the Roller Baller and pop a card. Now let's say our opponent tries to keep playing here. We're just going to go through their little combo line, doing whatever. And as soon as our opponent hits either 2 monsters or 3 monsters, we also haven't used Leon effect, which is a quick effect pop. But we can quick fusion on our opponent's turn into the Pinballer. Now Pinballer, when it's fusion summoned, you can equip face-up monsters your opponent controls up to the number of fusion materials used. So if we end on the Carrie and then summon out the Roller Baller, that's already 2 materials. If you used Star Leon's effect to pop already, and you want to get like the maximum value out of Pinballer, you can also use the Leon as material. It's very simple and effective to just use the Pinballer and the Carrie. And what this will do is it'll slurp up our opponent's 2 monsters here, which is non-targeting, and if our life points are lower than our opponent's, this effect and activation cannot be negated. So this is almost certainly going to resolve. In a deck like this, where you can see we're already at 53 just by doing our first turn combo. So you can see that just off of an E-Tele, we get either 4 or 5 interruption. So the deck can now do a whole lot off of just 1 card, which previously it didn't have anything like that. Now, what if we draw our P.U.N.K starter, but also something like a Carrie or a Star Leon? It's going to play out mostly the same here at the beginning, going through our normal P.U.N.K line. And the nice thing about the new support is that if your opponent does interrupt your P.U.N.K line, Gold Pride now has enough like starters and searchers to be able to play if your P.U.N.K engine can like bait out some hand traps, which is really cool. This is something that wasn't really possible before. So we're going to go into the main line here, and instead of summoning back the level 3, we're going to summon back the Foxy Tune, which is level 8. We're going to add the Psychic Wheelator or Psychic Tracker again. And what we're going to do here is we're going to overlay these for Photon Lord. So Photon Lord is when an opponent's monster activates its effect, you can just negate it, basically. And this is on the 5th summon, so if our opponent is on Nibiru, the entire rest of our combo is now protected from Nibiru. So this is what I think is the main reason for playing the P.U.N.K engine now, is it's a way that you can assemble the combo pieces to play Gold Pride, like to do full Gold Pride stuff, but it also gives you hand trap protection. Which is why I don't think that all of the, Wagon, Field Spell, Shirakusai Fusion, Madam Spider, Search the Trap, like I don't really think all of that is necessary anymore. Because Gold Pride can do a lot on its own now. So using P.U.N.K as like a life point reduction tool, Nibiru protection tool, searching an extra extender to start your Gold Pride combos, That's where I think the real value of the P.U.N.K engine exists now, where you can build it where it's like more of a Gold Pride deck and less of a P.U.N.K deck. Because in the past, you just were playing like 99% of a P.U.N.K deck with a couple of Gold Prides splashed in. But now you can play, you know, actual Gold Pride cards. So now we're in almost the same spot as last combo, right? Where we have access to the rank 3. Just we use the Carrie early so that we can now do something like dump the Roller Baller instead of the Carrie. So that when we search the Leon, we can bring back the Roller Baller. And then during the end phase, we can tag out into a Carrie, draw a card. And now we're pretty much in the same exact board state as we were before, just with, you know, extra protection in the form of a Monster Negate, which can protect your first turn combos, but of course also just disrupt your opponent on their turn. As if they commit to an action here, we can use Star Leon to quick synchro into the Star Leon, which is a little Trident pop. And of course we still have the Start Your Engines, which can give us our extra body. If we summon out a Carrie here, you can also... So at this point, we've already used Carrie and Leon. So we have 2 Carries in deck and 2 Leons in deck. So what you can do here is reveal 2 Carrie and 1 Leon. And no matter which one you get, you can always get the Carrie effect to search for another trap. Because even if we summon out the Leon here, we have a Carrie in grave that we can reborn with the Leon. So either way, we're searching another trap card for more follow-up. And of course, we have the Quick Fusion, which can use either 2 materials or 3 materials to suck up 3 monsters. Another thing worth noting is that in the extra deck, you also have access to Hope Harbinger. So if you pin your opponent not playing very many hand traps in their deck, and maybe playing things like Tactics or Thrust, Lightning Storms, things like that, like spell board breakers, you can make a Hope Harbinger instead, which will negate a spell effect to try to protect your board. So next we have what you would think would be this exact same combo that I just showed, but it's really not. Because you would think that, oh, you can just use Better Luck Next Time to search for Carrie. But it's really not that simple. Because we're gonna have to use this to search the Carrie, obviously. But the difference is, once we get to our rank 3, we can no longer use Better Luck Next Time in order to search for our Star Leon, because it's a hard once per turn. So what we actually need to do here is search for the That Came Out of Nowhere, which is the Monster Reborn, and we use the secondary effect to dump the Leon. So it's an alternate way to get to the same end board if you have a different starting hand, right? Because we get to reborn the Leon. Now, of course, make sure that you actually detach the Carrie from Chariot Carrie, or else this won't work. So make sure you do that. That's really important. And then the Leon can revive the Captain Carrie, go into the Star Leon here. And then during the end phase, we can tag out into our Captain Carrie, activate Better Luck Next Time to draw the Psyframe Driver that you're always going to draw off of this. And of course, our opponent does get to summon a monster off of the That Came Out of Nowhere, but its effects are negated. So if it doesn't have like a destruction effect, if it's just like some random monster, you can just use Leon to pop it, and then just get it off the field so that they can't use it as like, you know, extra deck material. But if it does have some kind of graveyard effect, you know, maybe you can negate it with the Photon Lord if you haven't, you know, been hand trapped this turn, because this will still be up. But other than that, yeah, this is the alternate line that you have to take if you draw better luck in your opening hand instead of just something like Carrie. I have been doing a lot of test hands, and it does come up that that happens quite often. Now, moving away from the punks a little bit, what can you do if you draw only a Captain Carrie? Well, basically, you just summon it out, you search the trap, and you pass. But it's not as bad as it looks. Right? Because like I said, this trap is like a +2 or a +3 on its own. When our opponent summons a monster here, we get to activate the trap. What we can do is reveal the roller baller. And then if our opponent tries to keep playing, you can see we're going to get the little guy to summon out 2 guys here. This will tag out for the pinballer, which will slurp up the 2 monsters. And then during the end phase, we can tag out the roller baller into the roller baller from our graveyard or deck, and we get to draw a card. So it's not all bad, right? we outed 3 monsters just by normal summoning Carrie. And if you brick on a hand like this, it means that the rest of your hand is just hand traps, right? So your engine alone gets you 3 interruptions, plus all of the other hand traps in your hand. So it's not all bad. And getting the extra draw off of Better Luck can help you find, you know, your Punk engine, more of your Gold Pride engine, you know, things like that. And finally, we're going to talk about Tour Guide as a starter, because I have seen Tour Guide pop up a little bit because it can special summon Carrie from the deck. Now, I don't know if I agree with playing this. This is mainly if you just don't want to play Punk. If you want like more space for non-engine like hand traps. Like, yeah, I can see the appeal. But Tour Guide is a very vulnerable starter. Right? Because if we normal Tour Guide and it gets negated, then we're still at the same life total as our opponent. Which means we have to basically draw exactly Better Luck next time in order to play the game. And, you know, if you're willing to take that risk, that's cool. You know, you can also max out on the other spell searcher. You can max out on that as well, but even then, it's just a very risky starter. But it is a very efficient starter. I will give it that. It is very efficient. Because it's basically just a 1-card Captain Carrie here that can search out our Better Luck next time. And go into our Leon. Leon Reborn the Carrie. Carrie effect, search for the trap card. Go into Star Leon, set the trap, and then end phase we get to tag out and draw a card. Then obviously we have the trap card where we can summon out the roller baller. So you get access to, as you can see here, like every single piece of your Gold Pride engine just off of Tour Guide. It's just whether or not you want to really take that risk of Tour Guide being interrupted and you not having any follow-up or any reduction tools like a Better Luck already in your hand. So here's my like day 2 deck list for Punk Gold Pride. You can see the Punk engine is way smaller than it used to be, because I don't think that the field spell and the spider and all that stuff is really necessary anymore. So all I'm running is a 3 Amin, 1 Deer Note, 2 Foxy Tune, and an E-Tele. You could realistically cut the Foxy Tune to 1, but there are cases where drawing Foxy Tune isn't too bad, because you can summon a Amin and then a special roller baller to go into your Dragon Drive. Right? Like that is a thing that does happen, and it's very, very nice. We're still on the Fenrir because it gives us very easy access to Barone, and Fenrir on its own is just a busted card, so playing it. We have 3 Rollerballer. Like I said, I always want to have, if I don't have access to this in the hand, I always want 100% access to it off of the Start Your Engines. And in the P.U.N.K variant, using Rollerballer plus Amin does make the Dragon Drive, so you can use it as a P.U.N.K extender as well. We have the tracker here, which I explained earlier. 3 Leon, 3 Carrie, 3 Amin. And we do have space for a lot of hand traps, so I am on 10 hand traps, which is a 3 Ash, 1 Ogre, because you can search Ogre off of Dragon Drive if you already have, like, full combo. 3 Gamma. Gamma is going to be very important next format. And then also 3 Droll, because Droll just solos every single deck after Cyberstorm Access comes out. And that's not an exaggeration. Like, it just beats everything, man. It's insanely good against this deck as well. Which is why Gamma can be really important if you use, like, Start Your Engines to search and you get Gamma'd or you get Drolled. You can then rip the Gamma, go for a Dragon Drive, and then just pop off from there. I play 1 Crowd Goes Wild because there are cases where, like, if you open Better Luck and you need additional search power, you can search this off of Carrie instead. Called by the Grave to stop hand traps. 3 E-Tele, just the best card ever. That came out of nowhere because it's useful in the combos that I showed you earlier, where if you start with Better Luck, this can make your 1 card and 2 card combos much easier. 3 Better Luck because it's the main searcher, and then 2 Start Your Engines. Yeah, the card isn't once per turn, so even if you draw one of them and then search the other off of Carrie, you can still use both of them, which is just broken. Just insane. Drawing 2 of this card is probably the craziest thing ever. In the extra, 2 Pinballer. I mean, Kashtira is still in the format. They're still going to rip your extra deck, so having 2 of this is pretty important. 1 Punisher, 1 Amazing Dragon, because you still technically can make this. It's just not like super valuable anymore. So if you want to cut this, I could see a reason for cutting this. Barone is our main target to make off of Fenrir. The Dragon Drives, Leon, Zeus, Harbinger, Photon Lord, 2 Carrie because it's our best extender. Fortune Tune to go into Zeus because this deck has a ton of level 3s. And Fortune Tune is like basically an indestructible Zeus maker. And then Unicorn and Access Code for, you know, just for very easy spot removal. So this is my current list, and since there aren't that many combos left to show, I figured I might as well just do some test hands here. That I can, like, kind of show you what my new thought process is going through with this new deck list. Okay, so this hand's not bad. We have 2 hand traps going second. We have Leon. We have a Called by the Grave to stop hand traps, and we have E-Tele, which is our full combo, basically. I should have turned off opponent before I did this. Alright, so obviously we're getting the Amin here. Amin is going to add Foxy Tune. And then use the Foxy Tune effect. Now the discard here is very difficult to say what's the best discard here. I think I want the Leon in hand, and I also want the Droll. Because Droll is kind of like a floodgate, basically. And we're going to be setting up a lot of interruptions with this board anyway, so I think Ash is probably the ideal discard here. And we still want Called by the Grave, just in case our opponent drops a Droll on us. So we get to go for the Dragon Drive and get our 2 P.U.N.K triggers here. Summon back the Foxy. And then you can use the Amin Chainlink 3 here to chain block your Ear Note, just in case they have something like, like, I don't know, Ghost Bell. We're going to get the Tracker. Going to make the Photon Lord here. Now we can summon out the Leon. Special the Tracker. Go for Chariot. Chariot effect. Detach the Leon. Get better luck. Can dump Carrie. Now I am now realizing that I could have potentially dumped a Baller instead. No, because this still gets us. Yeah, we can still Leon here. Wait, no. Yeah, wait, yes. We can normal summon it. There we go. I almost thought that I screwed up majorly. I remembered that we had E-Tele. Yeah, we did all of this without normal summoning, so then we can just normal summon this Leon and use the Reborn effect. Go for the Star Leon here. And then set our Start Your Engines and our Called By. Then end phase, we can tag out and see what we draw. Draw 1 during the end phase. And it's a Xiamen, which isn't great. We are running 10 hand traps, so drawing a hand trap at this point is not super uncommon, right? Because we had 27 cards in deck. We drew 2 hand traps. So, what, we had 8 left in deck out of 27, so that's kind of a 1 in 3 chance. That's not terrible. So, yeah, this is basically the full setup, right? We have Photon Lord, Leon, Start Your Engines, which goes into the Roller Baller, Called by the Grave, Droll, whole bunch of stuff. Okay, now here's this scenario that I talked about during the deck profile, where you can summon out the Xiamen here. Use the effect to add just kind of whatever. And then now, since we paid 600, we can special summon the Roller Baller. And then go for our Dragon Drive. But also, what we can do, if we want access to Photon Lord, can actually normal tribute summon the Deer Note, go into Dragon Drive, use the Deer Note to bring back the Foxy. And grab... We need Tracker here. Right, so now we can make Photon Lord or Hope Harbinger or whatever. Whichever one you think is going to be more important. And then now we're just off to the races, right? No pun intended. We're off to the races. Psychic Tracker is very good. It's a very good card. We can use this, dump the Better Luck. I'm actually not going to use the effect to send from deck to grave. I'm actually not going to. We already have all 3 names in grave, so there's no point in doing that. We're just making our Start Your Engines worse. We can grab the Leon, Special out the Leon. Reborn the Carrie. Make our Star Leon. That one. In phase, we can tag out here. We can tag out into the one from the graveyard so that we still have extra copies in deck. Draw into an E-Tele. Which is good follow-up for next turn. So let's say our opponent like summons a monster or whatever. We can start your engines. And since we already have a Rollerballer in Grave, what we can do is reveal 2 Rollerballer and a Leon. So that no matter what we end up getting here, we can always have access to the Rollerballer. Right, because even if we lost the 1 in 3 chance to get the Leon, we can still use Leon to reborn this Rollerballer from Grave. So we pretty much always have access to it. So yeah, that's access to the fusion. We have the Synchro, we have the Photon Lord, we have the Droll in hand. Yeah, I'd say that's not too bad. So really very weird starting hand with our P.U.N.K engine there. We were still able to put up something pretty good. So that's about all I have to talk about as far as the new P.U.N.K Gold Pride stuff goes. I'm really excited for these cards to come out. I'm probably going to play this deck a lot. So if you guys are interested in seeing, any future deck lists or any future combos that I figure out, let me know. Let me know if you want to see more of that. And with that, see ya.